Brandon Stroth. I'm the Director of Technology here at Swanton Local School District, and we're going to go ahead and go through this informational slide presentation as far as Chromebooks and how the district plans to use them. I would like to start off by saying thank you to the Swanton Local School District. We've had numerous hours of our faculty and staff going through professional development, late starts. We have a technology committee wrapped around the one-to-one implementation. In addition to that, our administrators have met numerous times to try and lay out this plan and make it as usable as possible for everyone. So I would like to thank the school. I would also like to thank Roger and his team over at NOAT. They have greatly assisted us. They've done this now about 30, 40 times with different school districts around Northwest Ohio. They have greatly assisted us in best practices, policies, procedures, and just kind of helped guide us along this process. And lastly, I would like to thank you guys just for the community support and the want to know this information and help our students do the best as possible with this new and exciting technology. Students learn differently than we did. With that being said, students learn differently today, drastically different today than when many of us went to school. A little quote that I pulled from Google says, "Technology is not new to this generation. Learning does not happen between Monday and Friday. This generation of kids are constantly online, constantly learning, constantly involved, constantly want feedback." So it's a little different time, and kids today are way more in tune with what is going on, when is going on, and just collaboratively. 90% of today's jobs require the use of technology. With that being said, 80% of these jobs require it daily. So whether it's someone at UPS or whether it's somebody at Subway ringing up a register or going on to higher education, which is almost exclusively no paper anymore in college. When you turn in a paper, when you complete an assignment, complete a quiz, we want to help prepare our students for the future, which is going to be using technology every day, no matter what career path they choose. Why did the district select Chromebooks? First and foremost, one of the greatest things about Chromebook is they are roughly half the cost of a traditional machine. So say you have a $1,000 laptop and then you have a $500 Chromebook. So they're roughly about half of what it would cost to buy a MacBook or a Windows laptop. In addition to that, they have some really great benefits and are kind of specially tuned for educational setting. They're extremely lightweight. So there's no moving parts in them, except for a fan. They're very lightweight in the fact that students will be able to easily carry them to and from school, to classes, so on and so forth. In addition, they have an extremely long battery life. So your traditional Chromebook can last, depending on how much it's used, it can last up to a week on a single charge. But if you're on it constantly, you're on it for like 12 hours straight, then of course it's going to need charge. But the Chromebook does an automatic hibernation or sleep just by shutting the lid. You don't have to log out or anything like that. You can help preserve the battery life. And lastly, one of the major advantages of Chromebooks is that it has built-in antivirus protection, or virus protection, that will help from a management standpoint, that it helps us be able to control what is going on in the Chromebook. It's built in, it's free, it's all part of Google, and there's no need for additional licenses or software. A Chromebook has the ability to browse the internet, just like your standard computer with Google Chrome. It can do word processing through Google Docs, spreadsheets through Google Sheets, and then presentations through Google Presentation. This presentation, by the way, was created on Google. Most of your students are very familiar with Google Apps for Education, which we fully switched to the district-wide. We're a Google Apps for Education district about a year and a half ago. And what that means is that everything from our email to all word processing to spreadsheets to presentations, anything that's done are done through Google. With addition to that, as every character is typed in a paper, an email, a presentation, it's automatically saved. So as long as you're online, you have the ability to share and collaborate with people, and you have the immediate ability for it to always be saved. So you can't lose a paper, you can't forget where it is. As you type a character, it's instantaneously saved. And then lastly, it will also allow you to listen to music, watch videos, some of your standard multimedia stuff that all devices do. In addition to some of the main features, the Chromebook also automatically updates. So at no cost to the district, when a new release of Chrome OS, or what the Chromebook runs on, when a new release of that operating system comes out, a little arrow in the bottom right-hand corner pops up and says your Chromebook was updated. Please restart. So it's free, it's instantaneous. We push it out to all the Chromebooks and they will update automatically. And then lastly, the incredible fast booting. Our Chromebooks are averaging 5-6 seconds from a completely powered off state to ready to use and log into. So compared to your traditional computer that might take 2-3 minutes to log into, they can go from off to usable in, and Google says 8 seconds. That's across all Chromebooks. Ours are newer and a little bit better mechanics inside. So we're averaging about 5 seconds boot time. As a district, we have chosen Google Classroom as the Swanton Local School District's LMS. LMS is a learning management software or solution, and what it is what most all of our students have already been using, and it is one place for students to collaborate, to turn in papers, to get information from teachers, to get links. So it is a version of their classroom, just in a digital form. So all of the stuff can collaboratively be put in one place that any student can access, whether they're in school, out of school, links that they constantly want, and it's all done in a paperless fashion. So it's much, much like college. A few of the things that a Chromebook cannot do. Excuse me. Chromebook cannot run your traditional applications. So if you have a game that was bought for, say, Mac two years ago, you can't just stick a CD, well, they don't have a CD-ROM drive, but you can't just take an application that was bought for a Windows or a Mac computer and expect it to run on Chromebook. With that being said, many of today's applications are being rewrote to use as what's called a Google app or a Google Play Store, and that allows a very similar version of whatever piece of software that might be to actually run on the Chromebooks. Another would be to connect to every peripheral device that there is. And one of the things that comes to mind would be a printer. So if you had an old printer, it doesn't necessarily always work with a Chromebook. However, there are multiple printers that do work with Chromebooks, and all of our printers here work with Chromebooks. So depending on the device, it might not work. And then lastly, have 100% capabilities offline. With that being said, all of our devices are now enabled for offline mode. So your student could theoretically type a paper at home, and then when they come to school, the internet is activated, or it knows that we have wireless, and it will automatically start syncing. There is an offline mode, but you can't do everything you can on the Chromebook when it's offline. You couldn't go to YouTube and watch a clip. In addition to that, or with that being said, you couldn't do that on a regular computer either. So you can't watch a YouTube clip if you have a MacBook at home and you don't have internet. Okay, I would like to now go over some basic Chromebook care. Chromebooks must always stay in the district provided case. We're going to provide you guys with a case when you get this. It is a work-in style case, and what that means is the bottom of it is rubberized. You set it on a desk, you unzip it, and you flip the lid up. It's a case that no matter whenever we see a Chromebook, it needs to be in the case. We don't want them pulled out. If it was to get bumped off a desk or something like this is going to provide some protection for the Chromebook. So it never can leave the case. In addition to that, we never want to see food or drink by the Chromebook. Just keep a clean atmosphere. Use the Chromebook as described, but please try and keep food and drink away from Chromebook or any of its accessories. As we know with any device or anything that we have, it will get dirty. It will get dirty from use. So if the Chromebook gets dirty and you're trying to keep it as clean as possible, just use a clean, dry, soft cloth. So it might be something like I think they call them microfiber sometimes, or something you might clean your phone or eyeglasses with. Don't ever use cleaners on it. Windex will cause a screen to crack. Don't clean the keyboard with any type of cleaner. Just a clean, dry cloth. Keep it as clean as possible. And then keep the Chromebook in a safe place, kind of like the picture that is up there. Just use some common sense when you have the Chromebook. Don't put it on the edge of a desk. Put it on the middle of the desk. Put it on a table. Don't put it somewhere asking for it to be damaged. And please treat the Chromebook with respect. Oh, lastly, do not throw or kick the Chromebook case. This is something that was kind of brought up. You get it at home and, maybe you're moving your student's book bag or whatever it might be. You kind of forget what's in there. These are electronic devices. They do have screens that will shatter. So just try and treat the case knowing what's inside of it with as much care as possible. All right, the last couple of Chromebook care items. Do not pull or lift your Chromebook by the power cord. There'll be, I believe on the right-hand side is a charging port. It's going to be just like any other laptop. It has a small angled adapter that plugs in, and just make sure you're careful while charging it that you don't pick it up or pull it across the table by the power cord. And then lastly, do not pick or remove your keys. It happens a lot more than anyone would think with district-owned devices. Once a key pops off, if it needs replaced, you might be without the device for a while. So just as long as it's working, do not touch them, do not remove. If there's an issue, make sure you let us know. All right, Chromebook expectations. Chromebooks will be brought to school every day with a full charge. Students are responsible for caring for the device. Students in grade 5 through 12 will take the device home every night and be able to use it for educational needs once the IPF payment has been paid. Insurance Protection Fund, that's the IPF payment. We will go over that in just a few slides. Students will use the Chromebook for educational purposes only, and while using that Chromebook, students are essentially using a device that is owned by the district. Therefore, any rules, any guidelines in the paperwork that you sign every year that says we approve that our student will use the internet in a meaningful manner and will abide by these rules, everything that applies to the acceptable use policy also applies on the Chromebook. And then lastly, students will be able to complete their coursework with the Chromebook. I believe that we'll see more and more of this in use as we get all the devices rolled out and as we continue our professional development with our teaching staff. Students are not permitted to personalize the Chromebook or case or accessory or cord in any fashion. We want to make sure that the Chromebook stays clean, operating as fast and as smooth as possible. We do not want any personalization of it. Students will be expected to return the Chromebook at the district's request in a clean, good working condition. So if for whatever reason a software update comes out and Google says you have to actually do a certain keystroke or something, if there's an issue with it, if there's something that we have to physically touch the machine for, we will request the machine back, and when we get it back, we want it in a good, clean, working order. Lastly, for our Chromebook expectations, students should talk to parents, guardians, whoever's internet that you're connecting to before you connect to it. This has been brought up in a couple other districts. We're talking with Roger through some of the deployments that he's done, where a student might connect to, say, a cell phone or a MiFi hotspot, watch 30 YouTube videos and use up all this information or all this data and then charge you, $200. So before any student connects to any other Wi-Fi, we're asking that at least the parent know what the Wi-Fi is, that it's safe and secure. All right, internet safety for the devices. All of our Chromebooks are installed with a protection piece of software and asset tracking software that is called GoGuardian. GoGuardian is used on every Chromebook device. It's installed at the domain level, and it is on any Google piece of equipment that we own. It will filter and monitor the device to SEPA regulations. So what that is the Children's Internet Protection Act is set forth by the federal government that in order for us to receive funding, we must provide a certain level of internet filtering. They come out constantly with websites that you're not allowed to show this in a school if you want to continue getting funding. So there's a whole set of rules and regulations to SEPA, and then GoGuardian is our agent that we pay to daily monitor SEPA, which then blocks websites from being able to be pulled up. No matter where the device is in the world, it has the filter on, and it's embedded into the operating system so it can't be removed. In addition to that, while the devices are on campus, or any device on campus, we use here what is called a light speed filter. And this is actually through Nawaka, which is just who we buy our internet through. And they filter any device that is connected to our wireless internet. What this is a much more stringent version of filtering. So it far exceeds SEPA regulations by blocking whatever we feel we have the ability to customize the filter. So say YouTube, for instance. We have YouTube blocked here at the high school. YouTube is blocked on a device here at the high school. When your student goes home with the Chromebook, YouTube is not blocked. YouTube is a SEPA compliant website. So therefore, we have the ability, the student would be able to watch YouTube at home, but when they're here on campus, you will not be able to watch it. So this is the school district set rules and guidelines on what we have felt best meet our educational needs to have the internet filtered with. Now I will take a couple moments to explain the Insurance Protection Fund, which I talked about a little bit earlier, and this is the IPF, or the payment. Parent and guardian students is responsible for making an annual payment of $35 to the IPF fund, or the Insurance Protection Fund. This fund is established in order to repair accidental damage in the event that it happens. The $35 IPF payment is payable, or you will not receive your Chromebook until the IPF is paid. With that being said, all of our IPF payments for this round are due in January, and then as we continue to roll out Chromebooks, they will be due every September 15th in the school years thereafter. The IPF fund is non-refundable nor prorated for partial years of student enrollment. The IPF fund covers bona fide accidental damage as determined by the district. So if an issue happens to your Chromebook, we're requesting that you notify, the students will be told how to notify either the building that ultimately will come to us, and then we will help determine on what the issue is, how it happened, and we want to make sure that it was truly an accident. If the equipment is deemed faulty, say a fan goes bad or it doesn't turn on or whatever, please immediately let us know. We will get the device fixed. If it's something we can't fix right away, we will also have loaner devices available. The last page on the Insurance Protection Fund is damage caused by a deliberate act will not be covered. If it's something that we deem the Chromebook was thrown out going down the road at 55 and car ran over it, I mean, we'll pretty easily be able to say that was not covered. The parent or guardian, up to $500, or the cost of the device plus its accessories can have to pay that. And then lastly, if the device is stolen, it must accompany a police report in order for us to continue on with processing it. Chromebook resources. So what we have done, as far as with our new website, we have put together an entire website of Chromebook resources. So if you go to Swanton Schools, and then you go to Administration, Department of Technology, and then Chromebook information, you will find a ton of resources. It will have everything from how to create support tickets. It has links to the IPF, or the actual documentation. And then in addition, it has information as far as what is a Chromebook, a little more in depth, why we chose it, what can it do, so on and so forth. So there's a great deal of information there. We've also created one-to-one info at swantonschools.org, and this is an email address that will go to the technology department. And if this is something that you can't find in the set of questions or some additional questions that you may have, we will make sure that we get this sent out to everybody. And then lastly, I just want to give you guys a quick overview of what the FAQ section that I was just referring to looks like. So you have a general, a damage, and then a responsibilities tab at the top. With those, they will take you to the section of the page where most of those articles are. So there's roughly 30, 35 FAQs already built in, and it's just from working with Roger and some other districts in the area, general questions that have been asked or something we've been asked already to this point, when is it due, stuff like that. A lot of the information is covered in tonight's presentation as well. But it will take you to that area. You just click on the plus sign, and then it will give you our explanation of what that FAQ is. In addition to that, we're recording these, so we're going to take the questions and try and add additional FAQs just to help everyone out. So we'll grow this as much as possible, and we want it to be a very easy resource for any parent or student that has a question that, this might be a quick way to figure out the answer. If not, then we're here to help. I would like to thank you guys all for coming. There's the email address, or stop down and talk to us, and thank you again.